Today on the CTV News at 5, investigators have a better idea of what caused a fire that completely destroyed a Lethbridge restaurant. Plus, veterinarians give the cats from a rescue shelter fire the all clear. And winter driving at its worst.
Complete carnage. Very bad day for a lot of people today.
Hundreds affected by a domino effect crash.
CTV News with Jackie Scantlebury.
Good afternoon. Fire investigators say a faulty fridge compressor or its electrical components may have caused the fire that destroyed the Boston Pizza restaurant in Lethbridge earlier this week. Fire prevention officers say the blaze started in the north central part of the building, and the cause, the fridge compressor or its components attached to it. The investigation has been completed, but findings still need to be verified by forensic experts. The fire department says the blaze spread quickly once flames got into the ceiling. Officials believe sprinklers might have saved the building. They point to a fire at the Lodge Hotel the same day, and that storage area was equipped with sprinklers, and damage confined to just one room.
Well, I remember starting on the job 20 years ago, and that was the big topic of conversations, not only in restaurants, but also in private residence. To have a sprinkler in your house, it's an increase in cost, but it's the life safety issue that's the most important thing, and it's been on the table, and I'm sure one of these days it will become something that might be mandatory in a house or even in restaurants like that.
Fire officials stress restaurants are not required to actually install sprinklers under the current building codes, but they believe sprinklers can be effective in helping to reduce damage. Well, the QE2 finally reopened after yesterday's 100-vehicle pileup in a snowstorm. 100 people were injured in the crash that shut down the highway for hours. Jeff Harrington reports.
It started with one but ended with many, a maze of badly banged up cars, transport trucks and buses. Trevor Cowan was traveling with Greyhound to Edmonton when he was jolted from his seat.
We hit a tanker, semi and cattle trailer too.
A domino effect, he says, on one of Alberta's busiest stretches. It happened just before noon Thursday on the QE2 about 65 kilometers south of Edmonton. People traveling at that time say they were driving through snow whipped up by the wind. First responders and tow trucks scrambled to the scene to free those still trapped.
Complete carnage. Complete carnage. Very bad day for a lot of people today.
Mounties confirm more than 100 vehicles were involved. The chaos caused Alberta Health Services to declare a code orange at the U of A hospital.
We initiate a plan when we know that we've got large numbers of patients potentially coming into our hospitals.
Over 100 people were hurt, mostly with minor injuries. For those caught on the tail end of the crash, they were stranded on the highway with no choice but to wait it out.
Putting it in park, listening to the radio, having a little snooze.
I just stood out to stretch my legs. I've been sitting in my truck for the last 2.5 hours.
Turns out the wait lasted even longer than that. Drivers still stuck on the road even as darkness set in. Crews still busy trying to clean up the mangled metal littered over two directions of road.
This is the worst I've ever seen.
Now, police will try to figure out what led up to that chain reaction, but maintain speed was likely a factor. Many are now left to pick up the pieces of what could very well become one of the worst pileups in Canadian history. Jeff Harrington, CTV News, Edmonton.
And treacherous weather conditions were a factor in a triple fatality yesterday morning. It happened 85 kilometers north of Westlock on Highway 44. 23-year-old woman and two kids aged 4 and 2 were killed when their car hit a truck head-on. 2 others in the Ford compact car were taken to hospital. The male driver of the truck was seriously injured. He is now facing a number of charges. Finally, Dory, we're starting to see those systems pull away, and we do have better forecasts coming up.
Yeah, we really do, Jackie, especially as we get into Sunday, although we're seeing sunshine now, so we have nothing to complain about. But as we get into Sunday, we'll start to see a really good shift overnight Saturday into Sunday of wind direction. We need to get back into that westerly flow that brings those warmer temperatures in and some stability in the form of an area of high pressure. That's coming as we head into Monday. And the temperatures in the 5-day forecast, you'll see them. They're looking pretty healthy. I'll have details in a couple of minutes.
Thank you, Dory. Well, the owner of Lethbridge's Last Chance Cat Ranch is planning to rebuild, and she got a much-needed boost today. Elizabeth Ginn lost 30 cats when her home was destroyed by fire on March the 6th, and more than 30 cats were saved. This afternoon, the vet clinic that treated the rescued cats handed over a donation and announced the surviving cats are all ready for foster homes. Terry Boat reports.
Wow. Thank you. You're welcome.
It's been another emotional day for Elizabeth Ginn, owner of the Last Chance Cat Rescue Ranch. The family pet hospital in Lethbridge has just handed over a check for more than $5,000, money that will help provide for the ongoing care of cats that were rescued from the devastating fire, a blaze that destroyed Ginn's home and cat sanctuary in South Lethbridge.
Elizabeth has an amazing heart for cats. You know, we're very happy to be able to help her out.
The vets say their part is done. All of the cats have responded well to treatment and care after the fire. Now what they need are foster homes, people who are willing to commit for a minimum of 6 months.
There's a few of them still on pain medication daily, and they're getting some wound care, but ultimately it's the foster homes that we need. And I think a lot of them would thrive in homes. You know, being stuck in a kennel all day is not fun for them either, and can be a little bit depressing. So to get them out into a home situation, they're going to do great.
We want them to have good homes where they're going to be loved and cared for, gently, with compassion.
Elizabeth says she wants to thank the community for overwhelming support so far, but says all of these cats deserve loving homes until her house and sanctuary can be rebuilt. Terry Vogt, CTV News, Lethbridge.
As we mentioned, 30 cats did perish in that fire, but if you're interested in providing a home to one of the rescue cats that survived, you can contact either the Family Pet Hospital or go directly through the Last Chance Cat Rescue Facebook site. Well, there's a pit bull population boom at Southern Alberta pet shelters, and local dog rescue foundations are hoping to change the public perception about pit bulls. Recent pit bull attacks in the Calgary area have left the breed with a bad reputation. But the Prairie Pit Bull Rescue Society says there are lots of really good dogs that deserve a good home. The local group says it has 15 pit bulls in foster care right now. Another 8 are expected from California next week. The Prairie Rescue Society also has taken a number of animals from Calgary. Natalie Kent says if they didn't take the dogs, they'd be destroyed because of a lack of space at the Calgary Humane Society.
We'd really like to just encourage people to have an open mind when they go there to adopt. Pet one. Don't be so blinded by what the media portrays them as certain types of dogs with certain types of personalities. Go there and pet one, play with one, just become more educated about it and have an open mind about the dog.
The Prairie Rescue Society says people in southern Alberta seem to be more accepting to the breed, and they've had a good success rate in finding new homes. If you need more information, you can go to their website, prairiepitbullrescue.com, or you can check out their Facebook site. With all of the advances in technology, scammers are getting savvier. March is Fraud Prevention Month, and Lethbridge Regional Police are continuing their efforts to keep the public one step ahead of the bad guys. Jeanette Rocher reports.
Identity theft can happen anytime, anywhere, and police are warning consumers to protect themselves against it. One of the main rules of thumb is to keep bank PIN numbers private and even change them now and again.
If your card has been skimmed and people have your information, sometimes now the criminals are holding that information and not using it for periods of time just to avoid being caught. So we kind of encourage people to change the PIN on a regular basis.
And keep an eye on your bank accounts.
If you're checking your accounts on a daily or weekly rotation, then you might be able to catch a spend that isn't yours.
And if you don't catch it, your bank probably will. They're trained to catch unusual activity.
Save your statement from the purchase and then verify it against your bank statement or your credit card statement, so it's not being double dipped.
Some of the larger retailers have taken steps to prevent identity theft. Here at Best Buy, PIN pads and point-of-sale terminals are physically secured.
We can't swap them out. They're very secure, so no one can swap them out with another one.
And credit card information isn't stored anywhere.
It's only there just to put the sale through, so it's not actually stored on the actual till.
Criminals will try to get their hands on your personal information any way they can, even if it means going through the garbage. That's why police say old documents, discs, and even computer hard drives should be disposed of properly.
We want to encourage people to shred their documents, anything with their financial information.
This Saturday, police are offering to shred old documents and electronic devices for free at the AMA parking lot between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. All a criminal needs is your name, birth date, and social insurance number to do some major damage.
They can start making, open up bank accounts, they can open up mortgages, get a credit card.
Jeanette Roche, CTV News, Lethbridge.
Last year, over 500 people attended the public shredding event. You're asked to bring a non-perishable food item for the food bank. The city says yesterday's federal budget is good for municipalities. Members of City Council say they are pleased the government is continuing the Build Canada Fund. The federal program has allowed them to access matching dollars from the Alberta government. The city has used the program to go ahead with the North Scenic Drive extension, the Community Arts Centre, and the new Twin Ice Arena in West Lethbridge.
Continuing the Build Canada Fund, which has benefited our city significantly in the past few years. And they have extended that for another 10 years and put $53.5 billion into that. So it's a competitive fund, but we will put in projects that will qualify and hopefully will benefit our community.
The city is also pleased the municipal share of the federal gas tax will be indexed to increase by 2% next year. The city gets about $4.8 million from that program. It's World Water Day, a day set aside by the UN to bring attention to the importance of fresh water, a resource that one university professor says may be in jeopardy in the next century. Dr. Hester Diskut says there are 1,000 glaciers in the Rocky Mountains that produce runoff into Alberta, all of which are melting at an alarming rate. Her research shows that those glaciers are losing about 10% per year and retreating by 10 to 20 meters. The melting rates are being sped up by human emissions. Diskut says they're melting so fast that they could disappear within the next 50 to 100 years, which does have a direct impact on everyone, including Southern Albertans. Time now for a look at how the markets wrapped up the week. When we come back, Dory will tell us about the warmer forecast on the way.